Hey there toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike, welcome back to the channel. I'm the time travelling toy collector and this, it just keeps getting bigger, this is the Titan class, as you can probably tell, Nemesis. There's the Ark up here in the corner, we've got that here, we've got some Decepticon jets which are represented here in colour. But in the actual context of the ship, they are reproduced in quite small black plastic, but we'll look at that in the fullness of time. This is a slightly differently presented video today, purely because of the size. You'll probably notice I've not really done a huge lot of videos looking at the Titans that I've managed to acquire. Certainly some of those Titans were the very reasons that I got into collecting this new wave of Transformers in the first place. So it's probably about time I did start looking at them, as I've managed to pick most of them up now. But this is the most recent one, and therefore I think I may as well lead with that. Now again, I'm not in my usual review area, simply because of the size and scope of the box, of the product itself, etc, etc. So apologies also for some of the handheld stuff, although I think given the scale and the size of the ship, and possibly later the robot, it will work in our favour. I'm hoping anyway. It's a bit experimental, so we'll see. So anyway, this is the phenomenal artwork. This is my hand, hello hand, so you can get a sense of how big this is. But yeah, so this is the phenomenal artwork of the Nemesis ship. It says it's Legacy Evolution, of course it is, but it's very reminiscent of that G1, the cartoon ship that we saw the Decepticons follow the Ark back in the G1 cartoon back in 1984, 1985, I think it is. And it's incredible. Not something I ever thought we'd get a ship of. And again, I'm sort of accustomed to picking things up along the way, as you know, and trying to recapture some of the nostalgia of what I've had before. So this is bang up to date. This is something that's absolutely brand new. Only recently came in, and I've only just really had a chance to start looking at it because of work and other pressures. So we'll be exploring it together. I've done a couple of tester photos which I've put on Instagram of it in ship mode, which is how it comes packaged. Small amount of assembly required, nothing too challenging. But yeah, let's finish off a bit of looking at the packaging. So you've seen the front, the top is a product shot, Legacy, all of that stuff, and the rear we have, of course, the robot mode, the Evo Fusion gimmicks, more on that in the fullness of time, various elements of displayage, and another shot of the ship, and the black plastic jets, as mentioned earlier. You can see them being showcased here. They tuck away on the interior. So without further ado, oh, there they are again there, all four of them. Comes with four. Without further ado, let's take a look at the Nemesis. And here we have the Nemesis all out of the box and standing. I'm trying to film it this way so I get the sense of the length and breadth of the ship. It is actually standing upright on its thrusters, as it were. But I'm going to use that just initially, then we'll go through the other display options. But I wanted to sort of get a sense of being able to give you a pan, a sweeping view of it. So if we start the front end, I mean, this is, don't get me wrong, again, here's my hand, hello. You get a real sense of how big my hand is in comparison to the toy. It's a massive piece. So starting along the front, I mean, I can even come to this sort of angle here. This hands-free business really works quite well. You can see there's this command tower, the bridge of the ship here. This is an attachment you have to put on when you get it out of the box, as it with the various cannon points here. But these are, unlike the Ark, these are points of articulation. So let's get over the top of those. So you can see the wonderful surface detailing here along the ship. There's inbuilt weapons. These little axes are also attached. Once you take it out of the box, you attach that in. But there's some lovely detailing here. We know some of this is going to transform, but I think this bridge section is particularly lovely. Really like it. Really like the level of detailing there. You can see all the little windows, all the red detailing on the surface. It's, I mean, for those of you who watch my other videos, you'll be aware that I do collect Star Trek starships as well. And it's always nice to see the level of detailing that's available on those ships. So that's what I'm really going to focus in on for the here and the now. We do have, where are they? Somewhere around here. I can't remember where it is. Oh yeah, I can now. We have this little door here, which you'll have seen, I'm sure, from, excuse my arm, from other people's reviews. You just flip it open and this pops out. I don't know if it'll let me do it here. Apologies for the shaky cam. I'll try and get that out in a second, but that is where the ramp comes out, which holds 2 of the Decepticon Seeker jets. The other 2 are on the other side. But let's take a moment just to really take in that detailing and that panel work on this ship. It's so vast, you get different lighting effect depending on which part of the ship you're in. I love the detailing here on this wing. I did initially think this was some sort of Takara Tomy stamped writing on the hull, but it's not. They are, if you like, little windows, again giving it a sense of scale. Lots of detailing, lovely inlaid detailing there. I've put the wings here because you can have these straight, just to be really clear. They can be straight. But I kind of like having them, it's probably the TIE Fighter fan in me. I kind of like having them a bit sort of at an angle. It gives it a bit of a jaunty form. So there's the nice Decepticon logo there in the back tail fin. More surface detailing. I love this lighter lilac stripe, which also continues down there. I'm going to lay the ship down. The second side is, of course, pretty much the same as the first. So there's nothing too much there to explore differently. The underside, you have this massive fin here, which you also have to attach upon extracting it from the box, but it splits in half. We'll deal with that in a second. And then that, along with this curved undersection, acts as this ground support, as it were. So in a sense, so I'm going to do that now, lay it down, then we can look at the thrusters and the, if you like, the horizontal version of displaying the Nemesis. So don't touch that dial. So here we are with a slightly different angle. I've now laid the ship down. You can see this is sort of quick out of the box. Some of the paneling is not completely aligned, and that might be something I'll fix or be able to fix when I actually transform it, well, for the first time into robot mode and then back into ship mode. But this is the rear angle of that elevated bridge. And what's really good is that you can have it in that position. So here's the thrust, sorry. Lovely, massive, great big blue engine thrusts there. And you can see here how this has been split open. And we do have, very nicely, another entry ramp there, which goes off into there. There's not a huge amount of space, but it's nice to, it's there, you know, we can trigger our imaginations. And if you've got any of those mini figures that came with the HasLab Unicron or the Ark or so on and so forth, then they're probably to scale here. But again, this could attach to other base units or so on and so forth. It just clips up into there. But the detailing again remains really good throughout. You can, as I say, you can see here, this is an easy split, opens up and gives you a flat base to put your ship on. And as I say, I personally, it's personal preference, like these on an angle. I know it's not screen accurate, but you can, if you wish, just straighten them out. You can have them really at any orientation you so wish, as whatever floats your boat. But personally, I just think it's nice to make, it just makes the lines of it a little bit different, a little bit, you know, a little bit more photogenic, when you're mucking about with it from that perspective. I mentioned as well about these slots, so I've opened this so I don't forget to show you. And I'll just use the tweezers here. There you go. Let's pull this out, and there you can see in all its glory, this ramp has these two Decepticon jets attached, so that'll give you a sense of the generic scale of the piece. And again, these ramps are, these connectors pieces here would make it compatible with other base units or base stations, etc. And the reverse side is another jet, as well as one of the Tetrajets, and they just fit in there and close up nicely, and so it is. So I think, not being mean, that's kind of it for the Starship mode. I'm trying to think if there's any other features that I've come across. There's not really, but I think it's a beautiful, really vast entity, and I think that, you know, what they've learnt from the Ark, and we will look at the Ark, I'll get the Ark and do this at some point, is that the guns can now be rotated. All of the gun ports and turrets on the Ark are fixed, so we don't get much in the way of manoeuvrability there. But I just think the overall detailing and the quality of the surface detailing is beautiful. I just wish some of these would tab in and hold, but when you're this large, that sort of kind of happens. So yeah, so let's pull back a little bit and see if I can get you a sort of flying into the distant shot of the Nemesis. There we go. But yeah, I really like this openable, splittable fin, because it does give you that opportunity to have the ship lying in a playable horizontal format, because I think that really does make quite the difference. I genuinely do. But it's yeah, it's really big, really big. One might even say Titanic, which would make sense, all things considered. But yeah, so this is the ship mode, as I say, pretty much how it comes in the box. There are a few bits you have to add on, mostly the black plastic elements, the tail fin, and these two sort of Evo Fusion axe bits, which are actually sort of the frontal wings of the ship itself. But I think overall this is a phenomenal representation of this piece of Transformers lore, pivotal piece of Transformers lore, arguably. But now comes the big challenge. I've not transformed this yet. I've watched some videos of people who've happily transformed it, and they've gone, oh, it's lovely, it's really blah, blah, blah. Let's see if that's true. As ever, I won't video me because it ain't a tutorial, because all you'll hear is me swearing, which is not good for YouTube, or me, or my soul. So I'm literally going to transform this and come right back to you, and then give you my views on the transformation and a little walkthrough on Nemesis in her robot mode. So again, please don't touch that dial. Okay, so this is, of course, something else. So here we have the Nemesis all transformed up. That's a nice little close-up of her face there. All transformed up into her bot mode. Let me see if I can give you the full works there. Some really good detailing, but I am going to be brutally honest about the transformation. Let me come back up to the top. Yeah, I got scared. Not because she looks scary. She does, however, look scary. Lovely Decepticon logo there behind these blast shields here. Because this assembly here, the shoulders and the arms, the first time you transform it, you have to sort of crack them open down the middle. And it did not want to play with me. So I had a real 10-15 minutes of stressing, trying to see how the best way of doing, and I'm not exaggerating, trying to see the best way of doing it that would allow me to crack it open without doing any damage. I have, and it didn't do any damage, and these bits are actually much softer than you might initially think. And having done it once, I will be far more comfortable. I did actually have to pop on a couple of other people's videos just to see, am I doing something wrong? Because obviously that's your default position. If it doesn't go quite as smoothly as you think it should, what am I doing wrong? Because of the size and scale here, and you know, other people have done preliminary videos, etc., you will have seen the ranges of articulation. They are very, very good. It's excellent articulated range for a Titan class figure. I'm going to stay hands-free. You do have the Evo Fusion features here, which are these bits tucked into the arms, which detach into those sort of little handheld axes. That's a no from me. I mean, maybe if she was in a crisis situation, she might lob them off. That's a no for me. I think it diminishes her rather than makes her look stronger as a robot fighter. I do like the shins. Some of you will be aware that the shins detach and we can use those as guns. I might, for the purposes of time, I might just do that in a couple of photos rather than subject you to me pulling them off now and inserting them. But they do just detach. That flips out as a barrel and then you get a handle. There is some nice wrist articulation here and hand articulation. Again, there's a clearance issue for me getting this around. You have to be very careful to make sure it doesn't bang into stuff. There were some hairy moments. The majority of it, I loved transforming. But there were some hairy moments, folks, and I don't think it helps when you're left with bits like this hanging off the side. Now, I kid you not, there's no pin in this. It's a friction joint, so it comes off as quick as look at it. It's over the elbow joint, which is a good elbow joint. You can get quite a lot of articulation out of it, but you've got this dangly thing here, which serves no purpose, and there's nowhere to put it. And I double checked and triple checked, and it remains true. There is nowhere to put it. It just has to sit there. I think that's a bit disappointing for a Titan class. However, it's a very sturdy Titan class. We have an awful lot going on. We have some fantastic, well, we've seen the surface detailing already, but look at the quality of this facial sculpt here. I think that is brilliant. And the head has a lot of character to it. Upwards, downwards. Let's keep those open. We've got a little bit of tilt to be a bit threatening. Yeah, I'm really here for this particular head sculpt. The chest is lovely, with the Decepticon insignia revealed. Beautiful sculpting there. Lots of detailing, metallic detailing, all across the main body. Same again with the arms. You'll remember the feature from earlier, which was the ships. Well, if you open it here, we now have a slider to push them out. So this is the other one. So there's, I think it's Starscream and a Tetrajet. I don't know if you can see that a bit better if I come in a bit closer. And that's so that pops out, and you can angle that down. They do of course detach once you put them on, but they're tiny. So if you're somebody who loses blasters or knows that you might lose blasters, I would recommend against detaching them. Same with the various gun turret things. I think they could be detached and reapportioned into some of these other ports. I haven't tried it, but I think the more you move them around, the higher the likelihood you're going to lose them somewhere. So my advice, absolutely don't do that. Absolutely do not be that person. I love the detailing on the shoulders. Don't get me wrong, I think this is overall a fantastic addition. A fantastic addition to the Titans range. I mean, I can't even get her in her entirety into a single shot. She's that big. I just can't do it. I'm going to have to rethink how I do some of these in the future. These are a disappointment, and they're one of the first things you detach in the transformation as well. So it's quite irksome. She's hefty. This is the rear view. Rear view is not quite so impressive. The feet are born of the thrusters, and we've got the wings kind of just sort of splay open on the back. You can tilt them if you want to go for a little bit of a different feel to her silhouette. and she does have a fantastic silhouette, so you could splay them. But I think they were okay flat, to be honest. Also, it helps if you're displaying her on a shelf or something like that, because you can put her further back. She actually has quite a flat rear silhouette as a result of that design. But nevertheless, she's super poseable. I really like the figure. I'm really glad I finally managed to get around to transforming her. I think the arm detailing is really, really good. And I do love the slider. You can see on the other side it's there, so that's the one I opened in ship mode. Exactly the same articulation. So yeah, what can I say? I think it's an excellent, excellent figure. It needs to be for the money one pays for it, of course. I think the head sculpt is great. You can really see how the Decepticon insignia and her face, gosh, it's almost like, could it be? Yeah. And well, also as a little point, this top part, which is, because all of this acts a bit like a blast shield for their face, so this top part, when it's down, it resists a bit going up. Well, mine does anyway, so I only managed to get it a little bit up, and I thought, oh, is that as far as it goes? And then I realised, sorry, it's hard to do it one-handed. Then I realised, bear with me, that you can swap it up a little bit more and it will actually click into place to fully reveal the eyes. But again, there's an awful lot, and it's probably because she's so brand new, but there's an awful lot of resistance with certain aspects of panel separation or panel movement. And I just want you to be aware of that. It's not you, it is it, and it will go. You just have to persevere and be gentle. I use some tweezers to try and pry open some of the bits, particularly this section here. But now I've done it and I understand the tolerances and I've understood what tabs into where, I'm much more comfortable going forward and doing it again. So anyway, this has been the Transformers Legacy Evolution Titan class Nemesis. A big old ship that is a phenomenal transformer. Excellent details. Few minor issues, but nothing that I can't overcome. This is annoying, but again, I can learn to live with it. I've lived with worse. But she has a fantastic silhouette, and I will try and capture more of her posability through some photography, which I'll tag into the end of this video along with the in ship mode, so we can really get the full experience. What do you think? Are you going to pick up the Nemesis? Have you already picked her up? Have you had similar experiences to me? Better experiences? Worse? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching for the last, must be about 20 or so minutes. I've lost track of time. I hope very much to see you in a future video. I've been the Time Travelling Toy Collector. As I said, this is the Transformers Nemesis from Legacy Evolution. And it just remains for me to say that a thing of beauty, yes, really is a toy forever. Take care and bye-bye for now.